This Venture Camp Carnival of Chaos is currently the show's longest season, at least until Fans vs. Favorites matches it with its 24-character cast. Part of what contributed to Season 4's length is that it gave not one, not two, but three characters the opportunity to return to the game after being eliminated. Anastasia is eliminated and returns within the same episode, so some people don't even remember to consider her a returnee. The two other returnees, Marissa and Amelie, are remembered but not positively. So what went wrong with them? It's actually pretty easy to pinpoint the problem with Marissa's return. She does nothing but orbit Anastasia. She has no meaningful interactions with any other characters and no agency in any of her plots or her game. She serves as an extra vote for Anastasia all the way until her elimination, which is the best part about her return. Isabel forcing Anastasia and Marissa to compete in a tiebreaker is one of the most exciting moments of the show, but it's bogged down by the two being so overdramatic. They act like whoever loses the tiebreaker is going to get executed, as if they're in Danganronpa or Squid Games. And when Marissa loses, it's solely to push Anastasia's development, which is already a dubious writing decision as is. It's made even worse by the fact that this is the second time Marissa has been eliminated to boost Anastasia. Both of Marissa's eliminations were enacted with the intent of getting under Anastasia's skin and provoking her to act. As cool as the Anastasia-Marissa tiebreaker is, it raises the question of if that scene alone is enough to justify bringing Marissa back. She does nothing and ultimately repeats arcs that already happened in the pre-merge. It's a lot harder to identify what went wrong with Amelie. She had meaningful conversations with Hannah and was actively steering the game with her strategy. But despite that, it still feels like she didn't do anything. Sometimes I even forget where exactly she'll placed. I'll say post-Jade, referring to the final 5, but Amelie was technically there too. So episode by episode, let's look at how Amelie influenced the game. In episode 17, Amelie joined the Girls Alliance and Natalia was eliminated. Spencer was the target, but because Amelie nudged Natalia into not waiting to pursue her goals, Natalia self-destructed her game by targeting Anastasia, who countered by rallying the Girls Alliance against her. The players responsible for this elimination are Anastasia, first and foremost, Spencer, and Natalia herself. Amelie also contributed, but not even on purpose. She was only giving vague, general life advice, and Natalia acted on it in a way Amelie wasn't expecting. In episode 18, Spencer is the target of the Girls Alliance again, and the main one campaigning for his elimination is Jade. At Hannah's behest, Hannah and Amelie do damage control to make sure no one sways from the plan. Spencer did a good job persuading Anastasia to target someone other than him, and wherever Anastasia votes, Marissa follows. Those two additional votes on Spencer's side would have spelled the end for Jade, but Hannah was there to put Anastasia on the right track. At the same time, Jade, who's already dead set on voting Spencer, is trying to convince Isabel to vote for Spencer too. Amelie appears to assist Jade's argument, so Isabel settles for the plan. This makes it seem like Jade, Hannah, and Amelie are the most responsible for Spencer's elimination, but Amelie's contribution wasn't really that necessary. Spencer was eliminated in a 6-3 vote, 6 for him, 3 for Jade. Even if Isabel never voted for Spencer, she wouldn't have voted for Jade either. She would have voted for Anastasia, making the vote 5-3-1. Amelie didn't play that large a role. In episode 19, the Girls Alliance targets Isabel, but she uses her immunity idol to nullify the votes against her. She and Jade also placed one vote on Marissa and Anastasia each, forcing them into a tiebreaker. This is Isabel's game move, but it wouldn't have been possible without Jade. In episode 20, Jade is eliminated because Logan framed him, and Anastasia is too blinded by rage to hear Jade's side of the story. Hannah is on board with eliminating Jade too because of how aggressive he was towards Benji. Jade and Isabel don't mind either because eliminating Jade deprives Anastasia of allies, leaving her powerless. I don't know why people act like the Jade elimination was forced or that the players were dumbed down to make it happen. It was pretty in character for everyone involved. As Amelie especially, since she seizes the opportunity to make a game-defining move. She blackmails Logan knowing that he framed Jade. In episode 21, this blackmail goes nowhere and Amelie is eliminated. To add insult to injury, when Hannah follows up on Amelie's strategy and exposes Logan, Anastasia, for some reason, completely forgives him, kills Hannah, and lets Logan win the challenge. Overall, Amelie's gameplay was calculated, and she refused to let emotions or grudges impede her decisions. DC4's merge is full of strategists, but they all played in a way that stands out. Natalia's strategy is that of a PR manager. She was a double agent who worked both sides, and whenever she crossed someone, she would use her PR skills to damage control and maintain her reputation. Spencer was a strategic genius who excelled in weaseling out of dangerous situations and manipulating people into making bad decisions under pressure. He is DC's best strategist when it comes to lasting just one more day, but his weakness is that he's too short-sighted. Jade's plan was to go undetected. He made a powerful ally and hid in the background, hoping to make it to the end without getting blood on his hands and maintaining his honor. Isabel played from the shadows, but behind her social butterfly mask is a malicious devil. One of the best elimination ceremonies in the series was orchestrated by her.
Hannah's a jack of all trades and master of none. A good social game, but not better than Logan's. Good at comps, but not as much as others. Has a semblance of strategy, but it fails her often.
Hannah had a semblance of strategy, but it often failed her. She played an amazing social game at first, but the nature of the game made her think that she'd be better off playing cold and callous, so she neglected her strengths as a bartender in order to play more like Anastasia. Anastasia was a vicious player. She made only a few true connections, Marissa, Logan, and Jade, but she gained power through intimidation, fear, and deceit. People were afraid to target her because of how mercilessly and relentlessly she'd retaliate. Jade was calculating. Her focus on the game never wavered. None of her decisions were personal, it was always just business. Logan was a threat in physical challenges and a social threat because of how easily he'd make friends. And also he flipped. It's like, above all else, everyone knows this guy for flipping. If you look at all these diverse strategic archetypes for long enough, you'll notice that Amelie's game was very similar to one particular character, Jade. Both of them joined the Girls' Alliance. Both helped to eliminate Spencer, even though Jade played a larger role. Both saw the threat in the Anastasia-Marissa pair, and both of them strive to keep their emotions out of decision-making. Where they diverge is that Jade has been playing way longer, not needing to return, and Jade helped Isabel separate Marissa and Anastasia. Amelie's standout game move would have been her blackmailing of Logan, but she gets eliminated before she can exploit it, and when Hannah attempts to exploit it, it has no impact. Amelie's strategy may have steered the game, but she steered it in the direction it was already going. Every play Amelie made, Jade did it better. It results in Amelie's return feeling like it had no strategic purpose. But when it comes to character interactions, it's another story. Sure, Amelie doesn't stand out strategically, but unless your name is Jade, strategy isn't everything. Maybe Amelie has a meaningful relationship or two instead. And she does in Hannah. Amelie's conversation with Hannah while they're in the pit is one of her best moments. Hannah has been playing more callously, and Amelie sees herself in Hannah. It shows the more human side of Amelie and Hannah's positive influence on her when she tries to reel Hannah back in from spiraling. But, there's another conversation Amelie has with Hannah.
I used to admire you, but now...
Now what?
You're callous, self-serving, and aloof.
And? You're not my mom.
And what do you think she would say, seeing who you've become? And what do you think she would say, seeing who you've become?
There is no reason for Amelie to say this. They're playing a game. Bringing up someone's dead mother because she's playing a game is incredibly inappropriate, and Amelie feeling betrayed by Hannah is unwarranted in the first place. They were arguing because they agreed to let Amelie win the challenge, but a tree branch fell on her, and instead of stopping to help Amelie, Hannah ran to the finish line, barely winning against Logan. This context makes Amelie seem ridiculous, because if Hannah stopped to help Amelie out from under the non-urgent tree branch, they both would have lost the challenge. It would have made more sense if Logan was nowhere near the finish line, meaning Hannah had all the time in the world to help Amelie and fulfill their agreement, but Hannah chooses to leave Amelie and steal the win for herself regardless. The way it is now killed Amelie's character for a lot of viewers. So, like with Marissa, it's questionable whether or not Amelie's return was worth it if it only comes with one good moment. This venture camp knows how to write good returnees. For all of DCIS's flaws, Connor is not one of them. When he returns, they do the most they can with him. He has sincere conversations with several characters, and he shifted the game by uniting the Heroes Alliance. Even Carol's return in DC2 Remake, while still a little unnecessary, is at least more memorable because of her influence on Rhea's behavior. By the time Amelie is eliminated, Hannah hasn't been swayed by her words of wisdom. It's that bummy flipper who course corrects Hannah. It led me to wonder, if these returnees were replaced, how would we keep their good moments? For example, if Marissa isn't there, we would lose one of the best ceremonies of the series, and what would Isabel's defining game move be now? Even though it was harder to identify what was wrong with Amelie, she's easier to replace. Amelie's best moment is when she spoke with Hannah, who was open and friendly at first, but became colder as the game progressed. Amelie was the opposite, but so was Anastasia. Anastasia was heartless as soon as the game began, but halfway through she started to open up. I think it would help expand Anastasia's list of confidants and appeal to the audience to her more if she's the one who sees how Hannah is struggling and relates to her. However, Anastasia only started becoming kinder at the midway point due to Marissa's return. If the pair aren't reunited at the comeback challenge, we lose this. We could theoretically keep Marissa returning, have this conversation between Hannah and Anastasia happen sooner, and have Anastasia be eliminated in the tiebreaker instead of Marissa. This would keep Anastasia from feeling like she overstayed, and it would give Marissa the opportunity to flesh out her character without Anastasia around. I'm personally a fan of that timeline, but I do like Anastasia's presence in the endgame of the season. She's an explosive force who, when utilized well, can drive plots forward. Marissa is far more passive in comparison. So how do we change the returnees while keeping all of this? A greedy question, but it's possible if we go all the way back to the first returnee challenge. If Anastasia is the one Linda eliminates early on, Marissa is forced to act without Anastasia's cold-hearted influence during the team phase. Marissa struggles with leadership because she can't make hard choices, and pre-merge is the best time to explore that. It goes hand in hand with her hesitance to join the military too. If she attempts to play a more cutthroat game after Anastasia's elimination, she'll come to the conclusion that type of behavior isn't her, and therefore she wouldn't be suited for the military either. And this timeline, when the comeback challenge rolls around, Anastasia wins. With Marissa given a full plot in pre-merge, it does less of a disservice to her to have her lose in the tiebreaker to Anastasia, and with Anastasia still around, she can relate to Hannah. Plus, with one more returnee spot still open, Ted, Linda, or Alessio could return to the game. They'd be fun choices. As long as it's not Diego. This is my first time making a Disventure Camp video. I wanted to more thoroughly vocalize some of my thoughts on the show, so the range of topics on this channel continues to expand. If you've watched this far, it is greatly appreciated.